Hi, Megan.
Welcome to Bad Movies Rock.
Thank you, Megan. Megan, welcome to Bad Movies Rock. Have you ever noticed how, like when you talk to people does your voice sound different to you than when you're addressing strangers or people you don't know as well?
Yeah, I think that's true. Like I definitely have like a phone voice, like a
definitely have a phone voice.
Yeah, ordering pizza voice.
Yeah, the I'm not going to use the F word voice.
Yes,
that I use for family that I talk to once a year, or people on the phone. It's a little bit more cultured, a little bit kinder and softer. But what I'm talking about, and maybe this is just me, like when somebody I don't know or that I see on occasion, I take a walk on my hill every morning and then again in the evening, and you see the same people, you say hi to them. Sometimes you see new people and you say hi to them. I have found that this is my speaking voice. Sometimes it's even a little bit lower than this when I really get going. If I get really excited, it gets a little bit shriller, a little bit faster, and it gets a little bit higher. But when I say hi to a person I don't know on the street, it suddenly comes out like fucking Mickey Mouse. It goes from hey to hi. Hi. Oh, I'm okay. How are you? That is not my voice.
It's like your Muppet talking to voice.
I don't understand why I suddenly just go up several octaves. I don't know if it's a fear response or if I think that it somehow makes me less threatening,
sure,
or more approachable. I don't know if that's just the sound I make when my smile becomes a little forced. Just then the sounds are sort of
like you get choked in your throat a little bit, and then it just comes out. Yeah.
Oh yeah, now the weather's really great right now. What is this voice?
Who am I?
Who is this? Just got kicked in the lady balls. It's just I don't understand. I don't care for it.
Yeah.
And every time I walk away thinking, where did that come from? I don't know who you are, and stop possessing me every time I try and greet somebody I don't know. I'm not scared of them.
I'm not scared of you. That's what you should just say next time you bump into this. I'm not scared of you. Hey.
Hi, it's a really nice day. I'm not scared of you.
Okay.
It is a nice day. Hope you enjoy the rest of it. Bye. Damn it. It's so close.
So close.
Fuck. Well, Megan.
Yes. Those are small town like thoughts and you're walking down the street, you're seeing people all the time. Man, Amber, that seems like just a small town sweet existence.
Right. I did not have that issue when I was living in Brooklyn. You didn't have to give a shit about how you greeted every person you saw.
Yeah.
But weirdly, I had that issue when I walked around Oregon. I found that Oregon, Vermont have similar feels to them.
Yeah.
I'm not the only Vermonter who feels this way.
Yeah, no, I for sure. No, I believe that. What if you were like on a small island off the coast of Oregon?
I mean, that would feel just like home.
Yeah.
Everyone would know your name. You wouldn't have to be super friendly. You wouldn't have to exchange pleasantries. Everybody just knows who you are. You don't have to establish any cred. It's actually better if you don't.
Right.
You can be a little gruff.
People prefer it. Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you make their coffee the right way.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Sorry, I just had a personal thought. But that's how it works, though, in small towns. I was a barista for 5 years when I was in high school. And there was this guy who came for our coffee grounds. It's because he, composted them and he raised bees. And he would always bring us in honey sticks from his bees. But I had to train all of the new baristas when they came through. It's just like, okay, when he comes through, what he's going to do is going to hand you his mug. He will say nothing to you. He's going to hand you his mug, and then he's going to come back around for the coffee grounds. Take his mug. Do not try and engage him in conversation. Rinse it real quick, then fill it 3/4 full with French roast. That's all he wants. Then put it back down again. If he wishes to talk to you, he will talk to you. Keep it brief. He loved me. We said maybe 10 things to each other over the course of 5 years, but I was by far his favorite.
Of course, yeah.
Because I understand the Tao of the Vermonter.
Yeah. It's my best friend. Didn't even know his name.
I could not tell you his name, but I know he likes 3/4 French roast, and he raised the nicest bees who made the bestest honey.
Yeah, that's so nice.
That's how you do here, all right? Mm-hmm. And I learned that's apparently how you do in a small island in the Pacific Northwest by watching the lovely film Lou.
The 2022 film.
Go.
Lou. It's on Netflix, y'all.
Straight to hell. Do not pass go. Go ahead and collect $200. It won't help you in hell.
No. Money gets you nothing.
Well, despite your best efforts, you're still going to have to play the game, which is this time. As this is a Netflix original film, the Amazon does not have it for us.
Right.
So I shall, in this instance, be reading you the synopsis summary from IMDb, Metacritic, Netflix, and Amber, and you shall tell me which is which. Just remember, there's no Amazon in there, Megan. There's a Netflix. Right. There's a Netflix wild card.
Yeah, I don't know what I don't think. Yeah, okay. Let's do this.
We begin. A storm rages. A young girl is kidnapped. Her mother teams up with a mysterious woman next door to pursue the kidnapper, a journey that tests their limits and exposes shocking secrets from their pasts.
Were the first two things you said like two separate sentences?
Two separate sentences. I paused at the periods.
I thought
a storm rages, period. A young girl is kidnapped, period.
Okay, like little vignettes. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know if we were going for a haiku. A mysterious loner living a quiet life with her dog battles the elements and her own dark past when the neighbor's little girl is kidnapped during a storm.
Okay.
You feeling that? You feeling the essence of Lou?
Yeah.
Thinking she'd put her dangerous past behind her, Lou, Allison Janney, finds her quiet life interrupted when a desperate mother, Journey Smollett, begs her to save her kidnapped daughter. As a massive storm rages, the two women risk their lives on a rescue mission that will test their limits and expose dark and shocking secrets from their pasts.
Wow. Okay.
A grumpy suicidal woman with a dog does dangerous outdoor murder stuff with another woman because kidnapped daughter. Then twist! P.S. the dog lives.
Excellent. I love that one. That one's very good.
I mean, I very nearly just wrote the dog lives.
Yeah.
And you still would have liked that one best.
I would have, yes. It's
Megan.
It's very, yes.
Which?
Yeah. Okay. I'm a little confounded, but I'm going to go with... It's so weird.
It's tough because you don't really... I mean, you know the Netflix flavor because you watch Netflix, but it does confound the game.
Yeah, it does. I'm thrown off here. Okay. Let's go with IMDb, Netflix, Metacritic U.
I hate you so much.
Is that right?
It's goddamn creepy.
The first two were those little... I don't...
A storm ranges.
Yeah, that
a young girl kidnapped.
That seemed very... I would have called that one Amazon and the second one IMDb if that was the case. But like, I don't think Netflix uses such weird language that I recall.
No, Netflix is usually fairly straightforward and doesn't really necessarily get poetical.
Right, exactly. So that was... Yeah, okay, all right.
Creepy. Ugh.
The champion.
But I think we can all agree that the one that tells you, because of course, when we started the movie, I heard the tippy tappy of Megan Fingers on keys, and knew that she was looking up whether or not the dog lived.
So, I mean, the story starts with Lou, Allison Janney, and her dog. And the dog's the dog is a very well-trained dog. And, it's very clear that this dog is going to go on this adventure. And it really matters to me whether we're going to see this dog go through some shit, because that's an emotional thing that I need to be prepared for it.
Oh, no, I fully understand. I mean, is this going to be a canine or a Turner and Hooch? It really matters.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that anybody younger than me does not understand what I just said.
Yes.
But you understand.
I do, yes.
Dog buddy cop movie.
Yes.
One of them lives, one of them doesn't. Mm-hmm. And we can file every dog-based movie under either a canine or a Turner and Hooch.
Right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, if this was Supernatural, I can accept in Supernatural that the dog's not going to live. You know, that's just how they roll. So
nothing lives in Supernatural.
Nothing lives in Supernatural. And like, I could like, it pains me, but like, at least I'm ready for it. There's a really good website called Does the Dog Live? I believe it is. And it actually, it not only does that, but it actually goes through and lists a whole bunch of things like, does someone get kidnapped? Does someone hurt someone's teeth? Does someone get trapped in a small room? Like, it's a
like
laundry list of things. Yeah.
Does anybody's eye get manipulated in some unpleasant way?
I am almost positive that eye stuff is in there.
Eye stuff, yes.
Yeah, yeah. It can be really useful, folks, if you are unsure that you want to watch a movie or very squeamish in very certain ways. So, yeah.
Oh, Megan.
Amber.
Let's check in on the critics, since that's like a big part of what we do and why we do it.
The tomato meter is 68 for the critics and 63 for the audience.
Now, that would put it outside of our reach based on our very, very good rules that we always follow.
Yep.
Except Metacritic has the critics at 51 and the users at 40.
Wow. Rotten Tomatoes critics are universally approving of Allison Janney. I mean, obviously. She's got talent. They're not sure if her talent is worth this movie. People liked Smollett pretty good, but yeah, overwhelmingly, people were kind of lukewarm on the movie itself, but loved Janney.
Yeah, ditto on these blurbs. There was nothing but praise for Janney, but
is it Janney? Allison Janney?
There's
Janney.
two N's. I'm assuming
yeah,
Janney.
No, I think you're right.
Half the time
Janney.
I'm saying Janney. So
Yeah,
I think I'm the one who led you down
Allison
that
Janney.
dark and
I think
twisted
Janney
path.
is right. Yeah, sorry. Okay.
No, that's on me. That's on me. Yeah, nothing but praise for Janney. And yeah, only a couple of them mentioned Journey Smollett. Most of them did find fault with the movie itself. Some saying it wasn't going to be memorable. Some saying it was escapist. Some saying it was derivative or silly. That was the New York Times one. I don't agree with silly.
No, I think this is kind of anything but silly. But
there was one blurb from Benjamin Lee at The Guardian. It's like, the sheer existence of Lou might be a step in the right direction for women over 50 in action movies. True. But it's a misstep everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the rest of that article says, because that's not what we do here, people.
Yeah.
But I would agree with that, because part of me is super glad this movie exists. And there are lots of things to enjoy in it, and we will talk about those first. We will talk about the positive things first, people. I'm glad this movie exists, but I'm a little ambivalent about it because of a lot of the choices they made, both in just crafting the narrative.
Yeah.
But as well as the fact that you put a woman in this role. You gender swapped into a Taken pastiche. You know, your Equalizers, your John Wicks, having an older actor do pretty intense physical action. But now we have a woman doing it. Fuck, yes, Megan and I are constantly begging for this shit to exist and thrilled when it does. Except what none of these mention, and hey, I could 100% be wrong here. I feel like I often am. They go too deep into the gendered aspect. Of Lou's character. It's not just a one-for-one swap. Let's see a woman do these things. And sure, add some feminine flair to it, I guess.
Yep.
But they just said, okay, what if a woman? But what if a woman? Let's go down that rabbit hole.
Right. Let's get, yeah.
And I'm not surprised that there's not a lot of praise for Journey Smollett. Not because she did a bad job. She was great.
Yeah.
But I did not enjoy her character.
No, her character's rough. Yeah.
And so she did a great job with the character she was given, but I do not connect with that character and actually kind of viscerally don't enjoy watching it play out on the screen.
So in the RogerEbert.com review, they praise Janney and then talk about the kind of the two big co-stars, the bad guy, played by, I I've already lost it. I
Logan
said it.
Marshall
Logan Marshall Green and Smollett, they don't fare as well, with the former turning the crazy dial up too high. You know, the bad guy becomes unrecognizable as a person because he's just out to kill. And the latter being given almost nothing to play beyond a panicked mother.
100%. Yes.
And that kind of hampers both of those characters into being pretty boring and pretty meh.
Very one note. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not what you would anticipate from the beginning of the movie. The beginning of the movie definitely hints at significantly more depth for both of those characters, while establishing Lou's depth very efficiently, and we'll talk about that. But yeah, it doesn't deliver on a bad guy. It doesn't deliver on Hannah, Jurnee Smollett's character. And it just, and at the end, it dials their flatness up to a 10.
Yep, exactly.
So, all right. So critics, I don't know. I mean, obviously they're wrong because they're not going to talk about the things that we're talking about.
Right.
So,
yeah.
Useless. But in terms of the score, I don't know.
Yeah, I think I'm right in the 60s. I mean, I think it harkens back to, say, The Long Kiss Goodnight, which was...
Whoa!
No, hold on, wait for it, which was an amazing movie.
Okay, thank you.
Not this. It would but it was there was this point where they were like, oh, so this is going to be Gina Davis's foray into action movies, and we're going to build her up as an action movie star. And then that stupid pirate movie came out and got so fucking bombed that this is the world that never, we live in the worst world where that did not happen.
Darkest timeline. And watching this, I was 100% thinking about exactly that. Not just The Long Kiss Goodnight, but the promise of Gina Davis as my action heroine straight into my veins for the past decade. And, 2 decades. And I 100% felt this movie would have existed. Sorry, dozens of this movie would exist if that had come to fruition. Is in my heart, in the beautiful timeline that we don't live in. And we would already have, and I want this for Gina Davis. I want to see Gina Davis doing this. I don't know if she can anymore, but I want her to so badly.
Yeah.
Now is the time. Now is the hour to make good on that promise.
Yeah. Yep.
And making a movie like this, I feel like certainly proves that it can make a watchable, entertaining action film. And I mean, we'll talk about these movies once we've seen them, because of course we only see them once they're on streaming. I am mind-numbingly excited about watching The Woman King and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Is that what it's called?
Yep.
As soon as I heard about them and saw a snippet of the trailer, I was like, fuck yes.
Yep.
Please, yes, this.
Yep.
And I don't want for there only to be Wonder Womans and Everything, Everywhere, All at Once and Woman Kings. There shouldn't just be, or the old guard. There shouldn't just be really good, amazing films made by women, starring women. There should be allowed to be middling ones. There should be all kinds.
Right.
And we shouldn't not be allowed to talk about the handful of movies with women in them because they're too good, because they have to be too good just to get made. Right. You know? But I don't know.
Yeah, which is our preview, folks, that we are going to do those movies, and they are beyond the scores that we usually, allow ourselves to watch in terms of the goodness of a movie. But we're going to do them because we want to, and it's our podcast, so there you go. And
I'm excited that they're too good for us because, I mean, you have The Long Kiss Goodnight, which is an unimpeachably amazing action movie and should be scored way higher than it is. And that's, I mean, that's our sweetest spot. The movie that is underrated that should be higher. But it is a bummer that most of the movies we watch don't have women in them, don't star women, or people of color. And if they do have women, they're probably a comic book movie or a video game movie.
Right. Yeah.
And the only reason it's a woman is because that's what it was in the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I don't know. Long story short, glad this movie exists. Hope it means there'll be more. Was not amazing, but I don't think it should have to be.
Right. Yep.
And it's also not a surprise because it's a Netflix movie.
Right. Also true. But worlds better than something like Red Notice on Netflix.
Oh, so much better. I mean, honestly, better than Gunpowder Milkshake, which still makes me so sad.
I could unwatchable.
That cast, though.
I know. It makes me very sad.
But yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about the delightful parts of Lou. You got Alice and Janney. I mean, just, I would say that she's a bright piece of sunshine, but she is not in this movie.
She grimdark to the bone.
She is, like, the fact that someone said that this movie had any silly in it, like, even like the silly that we talked about in Moonfall, where it's like the movie doesn't think they're silly, but we think that it's ridiculous. This movie was all, it has an atmosphere of like dark, it's rainy, and that's all on purpose. And, it's relentless in that. And I think that, like, in a lot of ways, this is actually, at least like the first half of it, is a pretty darn good thriller. Like, in terms of like, you're worried, and like things, you're learning about the people, and like it's yeah.
Yep, it's woman versus nature with the storm, and the island environment is woman versus crazy man with your antagonist. It's intense. And I would say Equalizer, Taken, and John Wick, all in this, obviously, older actor, action star milieu, are way sillier in terms of the bombast that is encapsulated in their story. I would say this keeps it pretty straightforward. Yeah. Yep.
And very much, yeah. Kind of an action thriller than an action movie.
I wouldn't call this, I mean, this is jumping the gun here a little bit. I wouldn't call this Crazeballs.
No. Yep. Not at all. Nope.
Yeah. So Janney's great. Janney's not silly. Yeah. Janney does a great job.
Janney's Lou in this. She's the carries the movie in more ways than just the title. And the character development on Lou is fantastic. They do so much without some sort of like Donald Sutherland coming in, or an AI coming in and info dumping on you.
Well, or even, I mean, we're beating the dead horse of Moonfall.
Poor Moonfall.
I'm sorry, Moonfall. I'm so glad I watched you. Yeah. You've really become a barometer for me. I learned so much about myself watching Moonfall. They spend so much time with the disgraced astronaut and his son, and the ex-wife and the new husband in the beginning of that movie, and you learn almost nothing. Despite the copious amounts of dialogue and the amount of time that's spent on it, you learn so little about the people, their dynamics, their history, their desires. You learn nothing, despite all the talking and all the showing. This movie establishes Lou, what she's about, what she wants, in really simple and efficient and visually appealing strokes, almost no dialogue.
Right.
Very quickly. And everything you infer, probably correct based on what they're showing you. But it sets up what's going to happen next without telling you what's going to happen next and signaling it way too early. It gives you everything you need to be invested in Lou and to feel that there's a depth there without being told everything all at once. I have feelings. I am sad. I am scared. I am tough. I don't care about people. I'm going to kill myself, but I'm going to do it in a really conscientious way.
Yep.
It's just, it shows you.
Yeah, it does.
Sets it up. It's excellent visual storytelling.
Another thing on that note, Amber, is that the film itself is lovely. Like the cinematographer, whoever that is, did went for some kind of really amazing shots. And was working with a beautiful beautiful area as well.
I'd say that the film is definitely bookended with some really, really lovely, contemplative, almost dreamlike shots of nature and the ocean, and and the action scenes are shot really well. In general, I'm never annoyed with what the camera is doing. I feel like everything's pretty clear and tends to capture the energy of the moment very, very nicely.
Yep, absolutely.
The cast in general, obviously you've got Janny, she's great. Journey Smollett is great, even though I might not like the character that they're playing. You have Ridley Asha Bateman as the young daughter V. Right, yes. And then not a lot of other characters. You've got, obviously, Logan Marshall Green as your bad guy, Philip. And then there's a sheriff in there for about 5 seconds. Yeah. He seems nice. He's Matt Craven.
Yeah, he's been in other stuff that I can't actually think about.
I've seen him before.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm happy just to see two women in this action thriller movie.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think that in and of itself is a big deal, and I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
So Janny's character, so Lou is very again, she's got this like very like brush, unapologetically like a gruff manner to her. And I kind of really enjoy that. I like the fact that Janny doesn't seem to need you to like the person that Lou is, like Lou definitely is a good person, but maybe not a nice person, and that's okay.
Yeah. There is no movement to be approachable, personable, likable, to respond to someone else's discomfort to her manner in a way that is in any way apologetic or backs off. It is just, this is what I'm doing, this is what I am, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do what you're supposed to do, and we're fine. And that's all I have to give you. I don't have to give you more than that. I don't owe you more than that. I am doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yep.
And it is lovely to see a character written as a woman, played by a woman who ain't trying to be likable, who ain't apologizing constantly, that isn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that there isn't an arc there of, I need to crack through this tough exterior to show that I can give a shit about things. It's like, no, even when I'm giving a shit about things, I'm not suddenly going to be doling out hugs and tears and kisses.
Right. Exactly. Yep. So I like that about the character, Amber. I'm not sure that the movie fully likes that about the character.
There's the rub, isn't it?
It's confusing, if nothing else, to me, what the movie wants us to think of Lou, because of the conversations with her, and especially Lou and Hannah.
Yeah. So this gets into the critical side of things. Yeah. Why I am ultimately on the fence about Lou. Not in that I'm glad it exists, but do I like this movie? And one of the biggest problems I have with it is I don't know if it's the movie's intention to do this, but I would say they positioned Lou as the bad guy with the twist in the film. So heads up, alert, if you didn't watch it, there's a twist. You have your standard, what we've already told you through the Which game and our own suggestions, hintsies. Lou lives on an island. She rents to a young single mother, Hannah, and her young daughter, V. Lou hunts. She has a dog. She's clearly setting up to kill herself. You see her take all her money out of the bank, set up a tarp, and pull out her gun. And she writes a letter to somebody about there being meat in the freezer for the dog and sell the house. But we don't know who the letter's for. We see an encounter with Hannah where she wants the rent on the table the next day, presumably to find her body. And then she almost runs into V. And when Hannah gets mad at her for driving so fast, even though she literally just started driving again, so she couldn't have been going so fast, and this young girl literally just darted in front of the truck
Out of the tall grass, yes. Mm-hmm.
Indeed. Lou's response is, don't let your kid fucking turn the world into a playground, and then drives off. So that's kind of our interactions thus far. And then we're told that Hannah's husband is dead, and she has not gotten around to telling her daughter. Turns out he's not dead. He's fucking crazy. He's a very highly trained, I believe, Green Beret.
Special Forces, yeah.
Green Beret Special Forces, and he comes to kidnap V. And successfully does so, and Hannah runs to Lou, who's just about to shoot herself, and asks her for help. There's a storm a-brewing also. Well, there's a storm there, so it cuts out all the power. They can't contact anybody. It's an island, so they're isolated. And the ex-husband/father, Philip is the name of that character, is literally carting his daughter across the island through the woods to a coast, presumably to escape with her.
Right. That's what we think at first, at least.
And he's leaving postcards along the way with cryptic messages, which we believe are for Hannah at first.
Right.
And so
But then it gets interesting because Lou starts to pick them up, and we realize maybe these postcards are actually for Lou. And well, that's interesting. This kidnapper seems to not only want his daughter, but want to mess, at least in some way, with Lou.
So there's a connection here that we don't understand. We see glimpses of Lou. She worked for the CIA. She's got some history with the shit that went down in Iran with Reagan, none of which was good. And she is clearly hiding and is, done, as I mentioned, but clearly driven for some reason to help with this.
Right.
And it's actually good up to this point. When Philip comes in, it's pretty sinister. We don't really see him. He attacks somebody who seems to be interested and cares about Hannah in his truck after being really personable, and it's off kilter. It's unsettling. You're like, holy shit, he seemed nice, and then he just killed this guy. Yeah. And he rigs a bomb in Lou's truck and leaves two guys in a cabin with another postcard to slow them down, lure them in. You don't know. It's a game of cat and mouse. It's really interesting. Right up until the twist.
Yes.
We learn that Lou was in Iran. Her job was to get close to somebody, a really bad somebody, to get really close. And she got so close that she got pregnant, and she kept the baby for her cover. And then he was kidnapped as a young child. She got him out, but then didn't mother him after that.
Right. Yeah.
And so he grew up fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah.
I am so confused how he had any friends, how the military let him in, much less trained him, because when we meet him, he is non-functioning. He is too crazy. He is a broken, babbling fool. He is the least interesting bad guy I have come across in a long time.
Yeah.
And that's after the Moon was the bad guy for a while, but then the good guy. But then the Moon was a good guy.
Oh, the Moon's so great.
The Moon's
I love
great.
The Moon.
He becomes essentially a drooling moron. And
bent on killing them all. It seems like we learned that he doesn't want to take V away. He wants to he wants all of them, including Lou, to be blown up.
He's going to blow himself up, as well as his daughter and his ex-wife and Lou. All of them.
Yep,
he's going to blow them all up.
And the bloodline, Emmer.
And the bloodline. Usually a good idea. But his reasoning being, I'm crazy, and my mom was a bad mom, and you took my daughter from me after I faked my death, and you thought I was dead. Or maybe she took the daughter before he faked his death.
I think that was my understanding. Yeah. Yep. And he faked his death because Lou sent this to the CIA after him. Yeah.
So you learn that he is her son. So that makes V Lou's granddaughter.
Right.
And you learn that she is on the run from the CIA because she kept documents from the Iran mess and used those to blackmail the government into investigating her own son because he was a monster.
Right.
He did terrible things in the military, which I guess they refused to investigate until she forced them to. So
Right.
in a way, the U.S. government is really the bad guy in all of this.
For sure, yeah. Yep.
But the movie does more than hint at blaming Lou. It fucking blames Lou. It has Hannah, literally when she finds out that Lou was Philip's mom, overtly, full-throatedly blames Lou for her abuse at his hands. He is a monster because of you. All of the anger he beat out on me and my daughter is your fault because you're a bad mom.
Yeah.
You were too career-oriented and you did a bad job and you kept a baby for your cover. And clearly if you were really good at having a certain set of skills and working for the government, then you can't possibly be a good mom, and you create a psychopathic monster who hurts women and is insane, and it's not his fault. It's your fault.
Yeah. Yeah, and in this moment in the movie, because later on, Philip will end up doing the same thing, essentially. And, like, the movie never refutes that, right?
Nor does Lou.
And so, like, nor does Lou. And, like, it's in Lou's personality to just, like, take it and be like...
But the way she takes it is definitely in a... Yeah, no. Yep. Like, bad mom. Made bad choices.
Yeah.
Like, I saved you from being kidnapped. Okay?
Right.
But yeah, I'm a bad mom.
Yeah, and I never should have been a mom or something like that. Yeah. And so it's yeah.
It's as if... So let's think about this. I mean, John Wick and Equalizer and Taken, none of those people are parents, right?
Well, I do believe in Taken, he's going after his own daughter, isn't he?
Oh, that's right. He's the most amazing parent. Super career driven, was never home, ruined his marriage, but God damn it, he was there on every single birthday.
Every birthday, Amber. Yes.
And he's the best dad, and that kid turned out great because he's the best dad. Also, he's a hero. So him not being home and being super focused on his career was actually deeply selfless because he's a hero. I mean, every single thing we see him do is pretty dark and not heroic. And you might say to yourself, well, that's because he's doing it to, sex slavers. Except for that time he went into a woman's home and shot her in the leg because he didn't like what her husband did.
Right. He wanted, Yep.
So... I am going to say that based on his actions and his particular set of skills, he's no better than Lou. It's just, for some reason, we're just going to say he is a good dad. And of course his kid turns out well. But the other side of it being, it doesn't matter if the dad goes off and is career-oriented and does violent, horrible things for his country.
Yep.
But if a mom does it...
Yeah.
If a mom does it, Megan, that woman can't possibly be maternal enough to not raise a drooling psycho.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she should be blamed for that kid's actions.
Right. Yep.
Wholeheartedly. That part's rough for me. It's not equitable in just the gender swap at all. It feels very intentional. It's like, okay, well, what if a woman was super focused, intense, licensed to kill CIA agent? Well, she'd have to have sex with her contacts. And, I mean, she could get pregnant, right? Because we don't know how to use birth control. And then if she got pregnant, well, obviously she'd keep it for her cover. But she couldn't possibly care about it because she cares more about her job. And obviously she'd raise a monster. And then, so who's the real villain? The kid who's the victim of her neglect? Or the woman who neglected him?
Yeah.
According to this movie, maybe her.
Yeah. 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 And as we said before, Hannah is not given much agency of her own. She becomes just a crazed mother who needs to find her child and does not listen to Lou in any of Lou's, it should be clear to Hannah that Lou has a certain set of skills, and she does not listen to Lou for most of their survival journey across the island together. No. And that's frustrating.
I strongly dislike that character. And it is, again, a very gendered character. If you have in these odd couple matchups, depending on whether or not you're going for silly action or hardcore thriller action, you more often than not it's usually a man with a particular set of skills, and he's matched up with just a hysterical female. Maybe it's a mother who's just, you justify the fact that she's doing stupid things because, she's a woman, or, she's a mother, so she can't possibly be thinking clearly. The only time you have a man in the position of being the dopey one that makes the dumb choices to drive the plot, he's not very manly. He doesn't have these skills. Usually he's a rich guy, he's some sort of, Lexus business owner or rich out of touch man, or God help us, maybe he's a little feminine in his disposition. And so I hate that too, but I hate this more because it's gendered again. It's the hysterical woman whose child is taken, and so she can't possibly think clearly and is going to make bad choices.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that when you are in a heightened emotional state, you're necessarily thinking clearly, but I think women are capable of both being upset and concerned for their children and also thinking like a rational human being.
Yep.
I'd like to see more of that, as opposed to just a character acting annoying and be like, well, her kid's gone and she hasn't been trained for this. And ultimately, her maternal instincts make it impossible for her to be effective in the field.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is kind of what this movie does to me. It's just,
it's
Lou can do it because she's a shit mom. Hannah can't do it because she's a good mom. And it's not that they don't make her character strong and forceful, but they have her make really dumb choices to drive the plot. There's a moment where she has the drop on Philip. She's literally shot him. He's on the ground. He's wounded. She has the gun on him. And inexplicably, she gets right next to this very highly trained and still, despite the gunshots, fairly able-bodied person and says, "I'm not afraid of you." Guess what happens next, Megan?
Yeah, you can't get that close with a gun. We all know this. He grabs the gun, and now she's running again.
We saw a seagull earlier, like 15 seconds before this happened. They could have just as easily had the seagull come at her, distract her, and him get the drop on her without having her make the mistake. There are so many better ways of doing what they did without painting her as ineffective, over emotional, making irrational choices. If she is so strong, if she is so focused on her daughter's safety, she is capable of doing both.
Right.
But we so rarely get to see that. Mm-hmm. And it creates this binary of you're either a good mom or you're a good Taken, Equalizer, John Wick, and neither the twain shall meet.
Yeah, that is what makes this movie rough.
And maybe I shouldn't get into this because I have no experience with it, and I'm not going to pass judgment on how they did it or if there's a better way to do it. They make her character the victim of abuse, and they go into it. Mm-hmm. They literally have Lou say, well, why the hell did you stay with somebody who was hurting you?
Right.
And Hannah rejects that and says, hey, you don't know. And this is before she knows that it's all Lou's fault anyway. Mm-hmm. And, she thought she could change him. He was broken and she thought she could change him. So she stayed, and then she had a kid and it kept going. And she even taught her daughter a game to, like a code word that told her to go and hide when she noticed that Philip was in a mood. And when she reaches that point, she then starts to agree with Lou. Mm-hmm. Oh my God, I turned this horrifying situation into a game with my daughter. What's wrong with me? Yeah. And it's almost like it comes full circle. The refusal of, no, you don't get to judge what happens in an abusive relationship and the choices that person makes. You don't understand.
Right.
But then Hannah herself comes around to, oh, I am a bad mom.
Right. The movie judges her for it. Yeah. The movie wants it both ways.
It
wants her to
does.
Yeah.
I mean, it could have stopped and started with, I thought I could change him, and then I realized I couldn't. But at that point, I had V, and he said he'd kill us both if we ever left him. Which makes them hostages at that point.
Yeah.
Do you have to go past that? No. Yeah. But did you? Yeah, for some reason you did. Mm-hmm. It's, I don't know. It gender swapped, and then it made it really gendered in its plot points.
Right.
In a way that I did not care for. And that already kind of pulls me out of it and makes me a little bit ambivalent towards this film. And then it just made a dumb story choice.
Yeah, I mean, and then where the coup de grace of the whole, film is the villain then like trying to blow them all up, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, so you've got this like villain that's nothing, is so flat that it doesn't it's not interesting.
Yeah, he was in the beginning. It was scary. He was intimidating. Yeah. He seemed really in control of himself and seemed to enjoy the violence of beating the guy in the van and stringing him up and leaving the postcards and playing with them.
Right. And at this point, he's got the building is rigged to blow up, and he's just trying to gather them all to blow them up. And like, yeah, it's not interesting.
Nope. Even the very end, Lou is badly injured. Philip is badly injured. Hannah is badly injured, but Hannah and V have managed to scamper off. They've managed to thwart the explosion, and they know that the CIA has been alerted to Philip and Lou's presence on the specific island, and they are hunting to kill them because they want them both dead.
Right.
And Lou knows this, and she's made a plan. Great, it's a good plan. But Philip, he's just so crazy that even though I think he knows they're coming too, he still very, very slowly and painfully limps his way from the lighthouse down to the beach where Lou is waiting for him and tries to beat her to death.
Right. One final altercation between mother and son.
Doesn't try to escape, live another day, try this again. It's just, okay, my daughter and ex-wife got away, but I think I can still eke out
my mom.
Eke out a matricide before we call it quits here on the moral coil.
Gotta eke out that matricide.
1 for 3 ain't bad. That's just not interesting. He's just a rabid dog that needs to be put down at that point, and that's not interesting.
Yeah.
And it really, again, it kind of paints the character of Lou into a corner.
Right.
That she broke this person to the extent that they can't. I mean, up until this point, they apparently were capable of functioning enough for the U.S. military to think, ooh, yay, gimme. But Lou's the ultimate villain here. It's. I might have upped this in my estimation if you'd kept the villain interesting instead of just he's a bad, crazy man who did bad. Also, it makes it really hard to understand why Hannah ever tried.
Right. Yeah.
I guess we can intimate that he progressively worsened over the course of time.
Right.
But what we're seeing is not... He sets off every alarm bell. Because as the blurb said in the critics section, it's dialed up too high.
Yeah. Yep. And also we're left with it being Lou's fault that he's this way.
Yeah.
And so the final scene, they're fighting in the waves. It's actually, I mean, like, despite it being stupid, it's actually kind of visually interesting. They're fighting like in the waves in this kind of beautiful area, and it ends, and she's having these flashbacks of him as a kid, right? And so it's like keying in on her like motherly experience and the fact that she let him get kidnapped and like, and so
she's a mom and she's oh god, her son's trying to kill her and she's gonna have to be responsible for his death, and now I get it. Now I get the mom feelings. It's all coming back to me now.
And as that's happening, they're both so tired, and at this point, like, she just kind of brings him in for a hug, and he kind of starts to sob. And then she says, "I'm sorry," as she holds him for the CIA helicopter to come around and shoot him in the back.
Yeah.
Shoot them both. But she's twist, wearing a bulletproof vest, and
can hold her breath real long.
Apparently, yeah, she disappears in the waves, so the CIA thinks she's dead, and she shows up, probably shows up later. So,
And of course, we learned that the note was for Hannah. And
oh, right. Yes, originally that, like, yeah, Lou's whole
Obviously.
plan was to leave everything to Hannah and
yes,
B.
and her granddaughter.
Yep.
Yeah, and so it's the ending's fine.
Yeah, and the dog Jax is fine.
Yeah,
so
Jax is fine. It's
go.
with V and Hannah at the end, and it's all great.
Yeah, he's never hurt, even a little bit in this
Even a
movie,
little bit.
folks.
He does. Oh, it's cute because she sends him away because they have to do the scary thing across a broken rope bridge, and he can't come with them. And then later, when Lou is on the beach, kind of unconscious, recovering from a pretty vicious stab in the chest, she wakes up and the dog has found her and is like curled up next to her. Jax is a good dog.
He's a good dog.
I approve of Jax.
Yeah.
It's the beginning of the movie, great.
Yeah.
Middle of the movie, kind of good. I mean, that's when you get your
kinda
good Janny action. Honestly,
Yeah.
she only gets to kill 3 people. It's a little disappointing, but it's good. And she's the physicality of the role is beautifully enacted. And honestly,
falls
Hannah's pretty good. There are just some annoying moments, and there's just not a lot given to her to do. And then it really does kind of fall apart with the villain and it's Lou's fault, I guess. And Hannah's fault. It's Lou and Hannah's fault. I guess
This
the only
guy's bad.
good guy in this movie is V
Yeah.
and Sheriff Rankin.
Yeah. So, but what would you put this movie on the rock scale? Regrettable, outstanding, crazeballs, K, or solid?
It's a K solid. I would say. I mean, based on what I just said.
Yeah.
There's some good things about it. There are some things that frustrate me about it and that just aren't well done. Yeah. So I would say it's a K solid K. I would recommend watching it. I am very glad it exists.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
I guess maybe I am definitely harsher on it because I want more.
I want it to be better.
I want more from it. Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Like, could you imagine if there was a movie about Janny's CIA character from Spy?
That'd be lovely. Yes.
That I'd want. It could be this, but then like a little sillier. And also there wouldn't be mother shaming in it.
Yeah. Wait, you don't mean Janny. You mean, wasn't that Gillian Anderson?
No, Megan, that was from The Spy Who Dumped Me.
Oh, yeah.
I know it's hard because both of them are gorgeous, powerful women who are running spy agencies with just an amazing amount of sass and awesomeness. So I totally get that. I would watch both movies. What if it's interagency cooperation? Because like Gillian Anderson was from like the European one and she was from the American one. And then they wind up together at the end.
That would be delightful, Amber.
Oh, I don't know if I need another movie after that. Sorry.
And movies are done.
We won movies. But yeah, I like this movie. I think you should see this movie. There's a lot that's good about it. But a little disappointed in how you handled the fact that you went from men to women. Because I don't see that happening anytime soon to male characters. Megan.
Yes, Amber.
Do you have an Issa story?
I do. So, let's see here. Maddie at some point was doing just spinning in circles. You know, like the kids like to spin in circles. I think they just like the feeling of like the imbalance and the like, you know, yeah. So she was just spinning in circles. And then when she was done spinning in circles, she kind of like, you know, half tumbled out of her spins. And she said to me, I got dizzy because I did a dizzy show.
Spinning is a dizzy show.
Apparently, yes. I hadn't realized I was watching such a grand event.
The dizzy show.
The dizzy show.
It comes at a cost, Megan.
It does. Makes her dizzy.
Excellent.
Amber, do you have a recommendation?
Sure. And it is not because I'm looking around at things on my desk and thinking of something because I didn't think of something before. Not at all. But I would like to recommend, you know how when you walk a lot, sometimes even when you wear the right shoes, you get a blister. And then sometimes you keep walking on that blister because you think, this probably won't get worse, except you're so wrong. You're a fool.
Yeah, you're a fool.
You're a stupid, stupid fool. Well, Megan. Mm-hmm. This is extremely branded, but
okay.
You can get moleskin that you kind of like you cut into little strips and you to protect the blister. Right next to the moleskin was this thing called a blister cushion made by Dr. Scholl, and it's sort of like this. It's like a big old Band-Aid, but it has on it is like something to treat the blister. I cannot tell you what it is. All I can tell you is that if you put it on the blister and just leave it on there for like 12 hours, it's better, like a lot better, like so much better in a creepy way. And it doesn't hurt as more and it just sort of deflates. And then put on 2 of those suckers on a truly nasty blister. It's gone. It's probably not good for me. I don't know what it is, but it worked. I thought, okay, I am not going to be able to walk for the next few days.
Right, yeah.
To let this blister come down. I put this on that night. Next morning, I was out walking again.
Fancy.
I don't know what's in here.
Yeah.
But I gotta, I'll do it again. I'm not afraid. So if you have a blister on your tootsies, I recommend Dr. Scholl's blister cushions. Find it next to the moleskin in your local retailer. It works. It's maybe, am I cursed now?
Probably.
Is Dr. Scholl's the devil? Did I make a deal with the devil?
It seems worth it, though.
Kind of seemed worth it at the time. Megan, do you have a recommendation?
Amber, I'm going to go ahead and recommend Drunken Master. It's a Jackie Chan movie. It's was one of our Friday Night Fight movies. Early Jackie Chan. It's delightful. It's got some issues for sure, but Jackie Chan, early Jackie Chan movie.
Yeah, silly,
recommend.
Fun, comedic. I think it was on it's like Amazon Prime right now, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. Yep.
It's a goofy martial arts thrill house.
Thank you, Amber. It's beautiful.
No, Megan. Thank you.
Well, Amber, this has been lovely.
Oh yeah, it has. Okay, yeah. No, you're right. I guess it's time to go. We could go, Megan. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. I'll wrap it up by saying what I always say to you, my friend. People aren't born good or bad. Maybe they're born with tendencies either way, but it's the way you live your life that matters.
Yeah, so if you decide to be a woman when you're born, and then you decide you want to be a badass, don't be a mom, because that would be a bad choice, and then you would be a bad person.
Right.
So
yeah.
So either you're a mom or you're good at work.
Yep, that sums it up.
And if you're good at work, you're only a bad person if you try to be a mom.
Yeah. Huh. Good job, Amber. Summed it up perfectly.
I am filled with the wisdom of Lou.
Bye, Ambers.
Bye, Megan.